I'd like to welcome in now Misty Marris, legal analyst and trial attorney, for some more legal perspective on this case. Misty, thank you for your time. First of all, let's start with these photos. How damning are these, 2006 photos showing Heuermann at a gun club just a few miles away from where remains were found?
Isn't it so interesting how the electronic footprint plays such a central role in this case? So now there's photographs from 2006 placing him in Manorville, right around the time that of when these remains were allegedly placed there. So this is really, really something for the prosecutors to focus on, because keep in mind, obviously, you have aged forensic evidence because these crimes were committed so long ago. And so when the forensics are being done contemporaneously now, even though there's been great developments, for the prosecutor's perspective, putting him in the area is certainly something that's going to be very impactful for the case.
All right, so then now I want to talk about the second thing that Natasha mentioned there, the fact, John Ray opting to hold this press conference to release this information. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I watched the whole thing and I was pretty stunned because this was really focused on Victoria Heuermann. She's the 27-year-old daughter of Rex Heuermann. And he's the defense attorney. So we know that the prosecutors, from all the charging documents that we've seen, have made a very specific point to say that Rex Heuermann, part of his modus operandi was to engage in these horrific acts while his family was out of town. Prosecutors have said time and time again, his family, there's no evidence that they were involved. But this defense attorney made a very bold statement specifically relating to Victoria Heuermann. And to back it up, he used what she was reading online and art that she created and art that she looked at of other creators, which can only be described as disturbing. But to make that leap and the insinuation that she was involved in Rex Heuermann's acts, that's a big statement to make. And so I was a little surprised that the defense attorney went that far to say that, especially since prosecutors have been so clear on the link between Rex Heuermann's family and the murders, which is nothing.
Right, which is nothing. And I do want to say that, the family has continued to maintain their innocence. Is there a possibility at some point that his family could potentially be implicated in this?
Well, there certainly is, and it's important to understand what it means to be an accomplice. So an accomplice is anyone who was involved in the planning, commission, or cover-up of the crime. So as the task force continues to investigate, certainly others, the family and other individuals, could potentially be implicated. But until there's evidence to that effect, and again, this is why I was quite stunned today, making that determination now that just because his family, it seems impossible that somebody could live a double life. And Nicole, I can't even imagine. Of course, that's going to be everyone's impression, right? Because how could somebody be living such a stark double life? But to implicate the family at this point, without evidence, without the task force or prosecutors making that link, it just seems incredibly premature.
Well, as this additional information comes out, going back to the photos that have been released, what will be the biggest obstacle, do you think, for Heuermann's defense at this point as this investigation continues?
So the photos are just another piece of evidence that's putting him in the right place at the right time from the prosecutor's perspective. And I think the most difficult thing for the defense to overcome is going to be that document that lists the planning, the preparation, the tools being used, what to do different next time. And that's the document that was found on Rex Heuermann's computer in Rex Heuermann's basement that was created in 2000 and edited from 2000 to 2002. And so when you have that document on his computer, it's going to be difficult to get around that, especially when the document has items in it that can be linked to the body, specifically Jessica Taylor. And so when you have that link between what's memorialized and was found on his computer, the electronic evidence, again, that electronic footprint, and it can be connected to the manner and means of the death of the victims, well, that is a really hard thing to overcome from a defense perspective.
Yeah, and this investigation continues. All right, legal analyst Misty Marris, thank you so much.
Thank you.